Hello, this is Blue Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sport and Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
WBO World Middleweight Champion Billy Joe Saunders has dismissed all kind of rumours that he's going to be signing with Eddie Hearn and has insisted that he will be extending his contract with Frank Warren. Due to the fact that Frank Warren was there from the beginning, he helped lay the foundations and of course has guided him and helped him secure big fights and obviously put a lot of money into his bank account. Frank Warren has given him great opportunities to become the British champion and all these kind of things, and ultimately world champion when he put him in with Nick Blackwell, Gary Spike O'Sullivan, Chris Eubank Jr. and Andy Lee to win the world title, of course. And of course recently with the likes of William Monroe Jr. and David Lemieux, and now of course he's got him a fight with Martin Murray. Whether you're happy about the Martin Murray fight or not, it's still a very, very decent fight, but ultimately it's a fight that Billy Joe Saunders on paper should win this one quite comfortably on points, but he's being set up in order to take on the winner of Canelo and Triple G. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But loyalty is very, very rare in boxing today, and I can only commend Billy Joe Saunders for doing that. As much as I am an Eddie Hearn Matchroom fanboy, if you like, but I can fully understand the loyalty to Frank Warren, I really can. But of course, in the reality of it all, the more big name fighters like Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury, Anthony Yarde, Daniel Dubois, all these kind of guys, Nathan Gorman, etc., are with Frank Warren, the better shows he can put on. That's better for fans. And of course, it's better because it puts pressure on Eddie Hearn to not let his guard down and keep on doing great events for us also. So for me, the more people that sign with and stay with Frank Warren, the better. As much as I would be very, very happy for Billy Joe to go with Matchroom, of course I would. But loyalty is a very, very rare thing, and Billy Joe Saunders is showing great loyalty. Of course, he does say that he does respect and like Eddie Hearn, and you know, if times had been different, would he have probably earned more money with Eddie Hearn over his career? Possibly he would have. And would he be a pay-per-view star? Possibly. But of course, now that Frank Warren has BT Sport on his line, there's a platform there to do pay-per-view now. So this is going to be a big lure for a lot of fighters, up and coming, and that especially when they're going to be deciding between Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Do they want to go to Matchroom where they could potentially be lost in the shuffle, or go with Frank Warren where he can spend a bit more time with them, building them up? Now Frank Warren, the only kind of niggles that I really have with him is that a lot of shows get cancelled with him in. That seems to be a running theme. The fact that some of the fights that he puts on, where we know his guys, but we don't know that necessarily the guys that he's putting them in there with. Sometimes the main event isn't a main event for me. For me, Tete is not a main event guy, unless he's in there with somebody as good as him that the world knows. But he believes that Tete is a headliner, no matter who he goes in there with. For me, I disagree with that. Frank Warren, he does cater to the hardcore audience, whereas Eddie Hearn will cater to the casual audience. In other words, he gets more people interested in boxing than Eddie Hearn, whereas Frank Warren keeps the old guard happy. That's kind of the way that I see it. Of course, you let me know how you see it. But either way, with Billy Joe Saunders, as much as I would like him to go in Matchroom, of course I would, being that most of his stable mates are with Matchroom as well, like Kell Brook, Kid Galahad, and like all these kind of guys, and Atif Shafiq and Lee Wood, they all fight on Matchroom shows, right? So it would make sense that he did, but ultimately it's not that important, really. For me, as I said, the more people that are with Frank Warren, the better, because it puts more pressure on Eddie Hearn, and of course that's more shows that we get to watch, rather than just watching Sky Sports and relying on their shows. We have other platforms, BT Sport, Box Nation, and that, if you like. Much the same with David Haye, getting his feet under the table now with promotions, with the likes of Willie Hutchinson and Joe Joyce, etc. Again, it's very, very young into that, so it's starting to build. But either way, that's more boxing nights for us over on Dave. So excellent stuff. And also with Cyclone Promotions, with Barry McGuigan and Shane McGuigan as well. While, you know, they have some kind of ties with Channel 5, I think it is. So again, that's more stuff. So the more promoters out there, the better. Whereas a lot of us will say Eddie Hearn is the man. He is the man right now. But the more promoters that there are out there, the more shows that they put on, the better for us as fans, and the more pressure they put on Eddie Hearn to say, keep giving us good shows. Frank Warren, he's dropped some clangers before, and what makes it worse is that he tries to sell an event that isn't really sellable. In my opinion, for me, I don't believe that Josh Warrington and Lee Selby is a pay-per-view fight, and it's not a pay-per-view fight at all. And it's good that he's doing it at Ellen Road, huge capacity. Will it sell out? Don't know, to be honest. But it's not the kind of fight that gets the whole country excited. If you want to get the country excited in your fighters, you have to cross them with the likes of Eddie Hearn's fighters. For example, Anthony Yarde. He should be fighting Frank Buglioni. He should be fighting Jose Burton. If necessary, Anthony Yarde does a show on Sky Sports. If necessary, Frank Buglioni or Jose Burton goes over to BT Sport. You know, these kind of things. I think at least once or twice a year, their guys should cross over. I'm not saying that Billy Joe should do it, because obviously Billy Joe is Frank Warren's biggest star and Anthony Joshua is Eddie Hearn's biggest star. I'm not saying that these guys should cross over, but the other guys should. For me, there's no real reason why that shouldn't happen, why we can't see Anthony Yarde on a Sky Sports show taking on, as of right now, Jose Burton or Frank Buglioni, and not allowing purse bids to stop just because one promoter doesn't like the other one. That's my only kind of like real beef about Frank Warren, is that he does seem unwilling to work with Eddie Hearn, unless of course he's getting the bigger slice of the pie, which isn't fair for me. But anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.